morning, welcome back to Ryker Rides. Today is the belt change video. I was able to get this around my waist, I'm pretty impressed. So today we're swapping out the belts. It is a heavy duty belt. This is no joke. This is directly from BRP, and I will put the belt information on the screen so you'll know exactly which one to order. And the first thing you're gonna do when you're swapping out the belt is to lift the bike up. Well, I'm sorry, let's go back a second. How often do you need to change the belt? So it is every 2 years or 12,000 miles or 20,000 kilometers, whichever comes first. But don't stress about that because your display cluster will let you know, and you'll have a big screen that comes up that will say, you have the smart maintenance will tell you when it needs to get done. It'll say something like maintenance required or whatever. And that's how you know it's going to need to get the drive belt swapped out. It actually says transmission maintenance required. That's the code that's going to come up to let you know that that belt needs to get changed. If you feel it slipping, you know, obviously then you need to get it changed depending on how hard you ride it. But for me, I'm almost at 12,000 miles. And I have a lot of subscribers who have asked me to make this video, so I'm going to make it a little earlier to help you guys out. All my information comes directly from the service manual that I downloaded online. Anyone can access the service manual, and it tells you step by step how to do everything. So I've done the hard part of all the research, and now you get to enjoy the fruits of my labor and watch how I do it. So the only thing I ask for in return, if you're watching this, I am saving you tons of money. So the only thing I'm asking for in return is for you to hit the subscribe button. So like 70% of you watching this video right now are just watching and not subscribing. So it only benefits me if you subscribe and hit that like button. Okay, that being said, let's get to it. And I appreciate you watching. Thank you all to my thousands and plus subscribers. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Okay, let's get down to the details. Number one is you have to open up the clamshell. That's what it's called when you open it up. It's a clamshell. So if you check it out, this is what it's going to look like when it's open. And instead of me redoing this whole video, Bill Ramseyer has an amazing video on this called How to Open Up the Clamshell of Your Ryker. So I will put a link to his video down below. That is what you want to watch. He does step by step, very detailed, and it's perfect. That's what I used, and I watched it to open up my bike. But a little tip that I have is this time, other than like I did a video on how to change the spark plugs, and you didn't need it to be this high up, but to access the CVT part of the bike, it really needs to be up to access these screws in here. So what I did was I cut a piece of 2x4, and I measured it to be exactly 24 inches. That's how high I wanted the bike to be up to really be able to get this cover off without any issues. Now, let's talk about what you need. There are very specific tools that you need to do this job. So the first tool that you need is called a puller locking tool. And this is what it looks like. And you need to order this. I ordered it directly from BRP to make sure I had the right tool. And I will put the part number down below, as always. And it is a $13.99, $14 tool. Then the second tool you need is called the drive pulley adapter. And I'll show you how this is going to work in a minute. And this tool is $27.99, $28. Also, I bought it directly from BRP. And of course, the link will be down below. So the Can-Am website is a little bit tricky to try to find this tool because they don't actually mention that it's for the Ryker. So it is the same tool as the Can-Am off-road. So anyway, so I will definitely post this, all the information down below so you don't have to do the research for it. And and of course the belt, the big, sturdy, heavy-duty belt. It is crazy thick. I think it's like the biggest I've ever seen. And this, I will also post below. I got this directly from BRP. And there are very important. There's two different belts. There's a belt for the 900 and the Rally, and there's a belt for the 600. The 600 has a different belt. I cannot stress that enough. You're gonna need the same tools, but the belt will be different. Again, the 600 is a different size belt. I will post both links down below and how to order both belts. Okay, and I'll give you the part numbers, all that kind of good stuff. What else? Oh yeah, we need a Torx 30, T30 Torx to get all the bolts off around your CVT, to open up that to access the belt. So there are I think 15 bolts, 15 screws you need to take out, if I counted right. And they recommend when you're taking them out, and I'll show you in here, also make sure you have plenty of water if you're doing this in Florida. So this is the part that we're taking off, the front of the CVT. This is the big Rotex. I mean, this is everything you have right here. So there are bolts all the way around that you need to take off, and also down below here that you need to access. So what you need to do is you want to leave the top two on, and you want to take those off last. So you want to take off the other ones first, so that way, you know, it's hanging up here instead of you having to hold it while you're taking everything off and then it falls off. So it kind of makes sense. You leave these two on and take those off last, and you go through and take everything off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and we'll get started. I'm not going to go through every single bolt with you. Also, I want to give a big shout out to my brother David, who is on the camera right now helping me out. He's in from Atlanta, and he is my guy. I love David. Say hi, David.
Hi, Beth.
All right, so we're gonna go through, and I'm gonna take all these off, and I'm gonna pop it open to show you what's inside, and I'll be back in a minute. All right, there were exactly 14 screws that came out of the CVT cover. So all the screws are off, and now you guys are gonna see inside just like I'm seeing for the first time. So here we go. Let's see, hopefully the cover comes off okay. On this side, David, to see what it looks like.
I don't see you though.
That's okay. They know what I look like. They need to see what this looks like. So I'm having a little difficulty because this is here. So it's having a little difficulty popping off. It doesn't talk about removing this, but I think I'm gonna have to. This is just a bracket that holds the seat, supports the seat. So I don't know. It's just having a difficulty getting past this. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this as well. So I'm using a 10mm socket to get this off. Okay, this little bitty screw that was a little bit tough to get out, but it'll make it easier for us. So I'm just taking this out, and then now, like all my videos, I always show you if I have any problems with anything as they go. I could not get this off because the exhaust was in the way, and I have a stock exhaust, factory stock exhaust. So the exhaust kept hitting it, and I couldn't get the CVT cover off. So what I did, I just used a 15mm socket and took the bolt off that was right here, and then it just dropped. You can look in here, David. So then I just dropped the exhaust carefully, and it brought it down. So that gives me enough room to get this off. It doesn't talk about that in the service manual. If anyone has any better ideas of how to do this, but we needed to drop the exhaust to get it out. I don't know why I couldn't get it out without it. So if anyone has done this and can have a different way, please post comments down below so other people can learn. We can learn from each other. Okay, so now we're gonna take this off and see what's inside. Yay. All right, so it's very nice, nicely insulated. Okay, now this section right here is the insulating mat assembly and guard plates. So there's some guard plates down below here, and this is the insulation assembly. This is gonna come out, and you want to inspect it and make sure it's not worn out too much. And mine looks good. Looks great. And then also you have down below your guard plate. And if you can see the guard plate down below, dude. Oh, the guard plate's on this side. I guess it's only, yeah, okay. So there's only one guard plate. Yeah, I don't feel anything on this side. So it's one guard plate. So you want to take this out and you want to remember where it was. So it's on the left-hand side down below here. So I'm taking that out as well. And that is it. There's nothing on the other side. So now you've got the belt. This is pretty cool. Now we're going to use our specialty tools here. And the pulley adapter is going to screw in here. And now the locking tool, the puller locking tool is going to go, I'm sorry, the pulley locking tool is going to go right in here. Okay, now we're going to use our this is a 13mm socket. And we're going to use this. All right, so we're going to tighten this using a 13mm socket. And by tightening this, we're going to be loosening the belt. So you can actually hear it loosening. Can you guys hear that?
You're not doing it.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Oh, you can hear it.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's taking the pressure off the belt.
Yeah, so it's taking all the pressure off the belt.
So eventually you should be able to get that belt off.
So now you can see how easy this is now. That is really cool. Having the right tools makes a huge difference.
That may do it. See if you can slide the belt off now.
So see if now...
Maybe not.
No, not yet. Oh, so I see what it's doing now. So if you see right in here, David, can you zoom in here?
Yeah.
So what's doing, it's putting pressure on this.
Yeah, and it's releasing the pressure on the belt.
And that's what's doing. So, oh, that's really cool. So this right here is what it's doing. That's neat. Okay, let's try. Still don't know, the belt isn't flexible. I don't know how it's gonna get over there. Oh yeah, maybe it will. Try a little more. That's cool, that noise. It's really... Yeah, you want to do it so it's pretty tight.
That's it.
You want to do this as tight as you can get it, and then work it. Dave, you got to look in the camera when you're doing it, because if not, you're getting all these sloppy shots. Okay, so
yes,
pay attention. All right. God, it's hard to find good help, guys. Okay, check this out. It's actually working. I'm so excited. I know I say that in every video, but this is cool. I was totally afraid to do this project, and it is really going well. I'm excited. As it's stuck now, no. This takes a little finagling to kind of get it over and under and through everything. Having a little trouble getting it past this point. Right, I think we're trying to come at it at an angle.
They don't give you a lot of room in here, do they?
No, it's pretty tight in there.
I just wonder if this case has to just...
No, definitely does not need to come off. What's happening, David, we're coming at it from a side. I think it should all go back in and then come out from the bottom.
Maybe.
That's what we're making it too difficult. And then just try to pull just from the bottom.
Yep, I think that's it.
Right, you're at an angle.
Really
You're at an
close.
angle again. Yeah.
It's really close.
It's almost like I feel like on these bikes you need little itty bitty fingers and stuff to get in there.
Wow, why do they make this so difficult?
Okay, got it, Dave. Okay, after a little bit of struggle, a lot of struggle, we got the old drive belt off. And now here's a comparison between the two drive belts. Can you guess which one is the new one and which one is the old one? So it is very, like the new drive belt is the one on the left. That's the new one, and this is the old one. This drive belt has 10,000 miles on it, and this is brand new. They look, the new old one has 10,000 miles on it, to me looks brand new. It still looks really, really good. So I don't know why there was a need to change it at that point, but that's what Can-Am says, so that's what I'm doing. But just so you know, it looks really good, my old belt. So there you go. Unless you're having troubles or something, I don't know if it needs to get switched out early, but again, I am not a mechanic. I just pretend to be one. So that's your differences right there. Okay, so now we're going to put the new belt on. And if you notice, on the new belt, there are arrows that tells you which direction the belt is going to go. The belt goes on counterclockwise. So the arrows are going to go to the left, counterclockwise. And let's see how easy it is to put it back on. It's really all about, I think, making sure you take it on and off so it's totally straight. You looking at the camera? So you want to make sure that's going in equally on all sides. How are you going to get this over that? Oh, never mind. And apply equal pressure all the way around. There you go. And now you pull it up. Now it's going to need to go over this. And it's kind of hard to do. Okay, so there you go. So you put it on one side and then kind of work it around the other side. Let's see. Here you go. I need to stand up and get some strength. There you go. David helped me out. Thank you, David. And push this in. There you go. Oh. That was hard to do. This project is a little bit tough. So now we're going to get, now we're going to tighten everything up. So the arrows, make sure they're going counterclockwise. Where's my, there we go. Now we're going to loosen this, which is going to take pressure off this. And you getting in here, Dave? Yeah, good. Thank you. And now this is going to, and you can see the belt tightening. Okay, that's not right.
It doesn't have to start, it just has to spin over.
All right, let's see if this works. Okay, let me explain to you what just happened. I came this close to having to get it towed to a dealership to fix it, but I figured it out. But let me explain to you what happened so it doesn't happen to you as well. Whenever I'm doing these products, whenever I'm doing these kinds of installations, and I'm nervous about doing it, whether it's the spark plugs, the belt, or anything else major on the bike that you really can't go without, I always ask myself, what's the worst that could happen? So the worst thing that could happen is if I screw up putting this belt on and it doesn't work, the absolute worst that would happen is I have to get it towed to a dealership, to a Can-Am dealership, and have them fix it. That's the worst that could happen. So it's worth it to try things and see how you do and see if it's doable. It saves you a ton of money by doing it yourself. And you know, so what's the worst that could happen? You get it towed, you get it fixed. To me, it's worth trying it and see if you can do it. So I came this close to having to tow it to a dealership. And I'm gonna explain to you why. In the service manual, it does a very poor job explaining how to do this. So I had to figure out a few things on my own that I wish it was written in the service manual, but you have me, and I kind of went through it all. I did the hard part, and you can learn from my mistakes. So here's what the problem was. The belt, see how nice, and can you see how tight this belt is? The belt has to be on really tight. It has to have good tension or it's not gonna work. When I put the new belt on, and I was using the tension tool here, this part was not tightening all the way. No matter what I did with the tools, it just wasn't tightening all the way. I had no idea why. So, and then also, just to go back a couple seconds more, to put the belt on, it almost takes two people. You really need to have someone grabbing the bottom of the belt, pulling upwards. You have room to put it where it needs to go, and then the other person is also tightening this up for you, or actually it's loosening it to tighten the belt. It's kind of backwards there. So it is a little bit difficult when you're putting this back on. There is a trick to it, and so it is pulling this as hard up as you can and getting it in here. Now, I made this tension as tight as I could possibly make it with the tools. This part should be flush, this area here where the tool was. If it's not flush, you're gonna notice the belt is not tight. It has to be tight. So I'm thinking, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? It can't, I'm not gonna tow my bike just to get this tight, and I have to be doing something wrong. So I decided if I can ride it a little bit, maybe it'll pop it back into place. And this is exactly what I did. The belt was on enough that the bike was able to engage and the motor was able to work. So I went around the block, and then it popped into place on its own. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to work, but that's definitely what worked for me. So the belt has to be on top. So what happens is when you loosen the tension, the belt falls in here. There's a big hole in here. You could put your whole hand in here. So what the belt does in here too, it falls in. So the belt needs to be tight and sit on top, not inside. So if you have any questions while you're doing this, please call me. It's a little bit frustrating getting the belt back on. So it took a little bit of finesse to get it to go right and then to get it to tighten the proper way. It was slightly aggravating, I gotta tell you. So, but now that it's done, I'm proud of myself for getting this done. This is probably the more difficult of the installs that I've done on my bike so far. I've done the spark plugs, I've done other stuff. I've installed the sway bar myself. So there's lots of other things that I've done, and I think this was the most aggravating because the directions were horrible. So I hope my video helped you. I'm gonna put the whole bike back together again, and thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps you guys out. Please don't forget and subscribe, hit that like button, tell your friends, and thank you all. Have a great afternoon, and I'll see you next week. Bye everybody. Okay, when putting the insulation mat assembly back in, there is a trick to it. See how these, if I can get in there, see how there are little grooves in there. Actually, let me take it out. See how right in there? Let me point it out here. Yeah. See right here? You have this piece right here, this piece right there. So those have to sit inside those grooves. All of them. So make sure they're all inside those grooves. including the side piece, the side groove that's right here. Now, when putting the insulation mat in, there's also a right way to put this in. So, and when you put this in, all the little holes, the grooves are facing out. Now the insulation mat, there's a top part and a bottom part. The top part is going to be thinner, and it's going to be a little bit thicker down below. So you'll notice when you put it in, there's these grooves. Let me put on something white. These grooves right here, you can see that, and they're going to go over the grooves where these screws go. So you really just slide it in there, if you can see, and it should fit perfectly. And also keep in mind, there's a groove that's in here. When you put this back, make sure it gets into that groove. Can you see that groove right there? So make sure that it's in that groove in there, see? And that's how you know it's in there nice and tight. Okay, so you see how it's going over these things, this bump here? So it should be flush and in there nice and tight. Okay, it should be in there, you should feel it in there.